What really makes the policy wonk tick? Here's Giles.
There is a great suspicion in many people's minds that the people who inhabit the bubble of Westminster are products of it, housed and grown in their nurseries, the think tanks. But the fact is, think tanks play an important role. So in a thought experiment conceived by the Daily Politics, I'm going to try and show you what might be in the mind of a wonk. There are lots of think tanks containing bright sparks trying to think big thoughts based on detailed research. Some focused on a policy area like health, tax or defence, some on all areas but with a party political slant. Some are started by politicians, some produce politicians, some try to steer clear of politics altogether. But generally speaking, what are they for?
Think tanks exist to help bring some of the best ideas that are in universities, that are out there in society, into an engagement with politics and public policy. So, we play this kind of role between politics and civil servants and the kind of best thinking that you'll find out there in society.
People say often politicians decide what they're going to do and then find evidence to back it up. But think tanks at their best have that long-term thinking and look at the evidence and then decide what to do and have a much more objective viewpoint. Even though some think tanks obviously have a political leaning, they're designed to be objective.
Now that all seems very reasonable, taking time from the maelstrom of daily political life to think big and possibly better. But are these ideas born of a hothouse of policymakers, or actually bad ideas? Sometimes eureka might just stink. That's it, I got it.
One of the major problems I think we have with politics is that we tend to come up with ideas from inside the Westminster bubble when, I'm not a teacher, I have worked as a swimming teacher, but I'm not a teacher or a hospital doctor, and then tell the people who do know what they're doing how they should do it.
Yeah, you see in Britain increasingly, as you do in the States actually, that people go in and out of government more, they become advisors, go into think tanks, come out in and out. I myself have done that. And in one way that helps because it means that when you do think tank work, you know what the realities of politics are like. You understand what it means to try and get a policy victory in a Whitehall department, or what it means when a politician is assessing an idea. But, if you do get too close, if you're unable to bring yourself back to the kind of bigger picture, away from the day-to-day pressures of politics, then you also just become less used to the kind of political system.
If all think tanks were guilty of this too close relationship, they'd have ceased to exist by now. But it's clear to avoid becoming too machine and still be human and relevant is behind a drive to make them more open and less wonk factory.
I do think you need think tanks. I think it's a healthy part of our public life in Britain that we've got good think tanks in our country. But it's really also important that they don't become part of a self-enclosed, professionalised wonkdom. They should be opened up to the rest of the country and recognise that they have a responsibility that comes with the influence they have in a democracy.